more than half of the income from the interest and dividends tax that the state collected came from people filing who had more than $200,000 in interest and dividend income alone.
Alone.
So not counting salaries, not counting wages, not counting capital gains.
I did not imagine that much money in my imaginary scenario of myself.
But
Yep.
that's not the $200,000 that's generating the money. That's $200,000 that has been generated by the wealth.
Phil!
So,
Oh my God.
Okay. Let's do the math. Let's say you have a 5% interest
I've
rate.
got a pencil behind my ear for this very thing. I'm ready. Go for it, Phil. I'm ready for the math.
So let's say you have 5% return on this.
I'm literally writing it down, Phil. Yes, I feel like I'm loving it. Yes.
If you're collecting passive income of $200,000 or more, then at 5%, you're talking about $4 million in assets that are generating that income. Okay? But if you're talking about the average annual return, let's use numbers from 2020, that dividend average was 1.5%, which means that if you had $200,000 or more in taxable dividend income, then you had probably about $13.4 million in the S&P 500's annual average return that year. It's important to remember that when we're talking about the interest and dividends tax, oftentimes we're talking about how much revenue it's generated for the state. And last fiscal year, that was $184.6 million.
Nothing.
That's not nothing. And
Not
we
nothing.
can talk about that in context, too.
Yeah.
But more than half of that money came from a relatively small number of filers. We're talking about, I think, roughly 2,500 filers who reported more than $200,000 in interest and dividend income. So that means that those filers who are paying more than half of the revenue collected by the interest and dividends tax, this is not more than half the filers. There were many more filers, but it's more than half the revenue collected by the interest and dividends tax, probably had millions of dollars in assets that were generating that taxable income. And again, it's not the whole $200,000 was taxed. $200,000 in taxable interest and dividend income meant that at a 5% rate, we're talking about paying $10,000 in taxes. That was a lot of numbers for a podcast, Liz. I'm sorry.
Phil, my brain has exploded. And I say that, Phil, because I have heard folks say things like, my family makes less than $200,000 a year. I don't want that tax to happen. It's like, that's not you. It was not impacting you.